Companies that have been operating within the cryptocurrency space have been calling on regulators to pay more attention to the industry for years, and with limited success. Even when Bitcoin was at its peak and the ICO sphere was booming, totally unregulated, it was months before many regulators uttered a single word on the matter. All of that suddenly changed last week after Facebook released the white paper of Libra, its global stablecoin project. Some US regulators have even gone so far as to request that the company place a moratorium on the project's development until they have a better sense of what the project is and what it will be capable of. In short, things are changing fast, and the companies that have been in the space for several years are gunning for what may be the end to the lack of clarity that has characterized crypto regulations since Bitcoin was invented. Recently, finance magnates spoke to Nimrod Lehavi, founder and CEO of Simplex, about how his company has been working with regulators since it was founded 5 years ago, as well as the future of cryptocurrency regulations. Nimrod will also appear as a panelist at Finance Magnate's upcoming Barcelona Trading Conference on July 10th and 11th. To learn more about the event, visit btconf, that's btconf.io. So, Nimrod, to start, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with the cryptosphere in the first place?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started my way as a freelance developer in 1997, kind of by accident. And later on, I extended the software development business company. I had over 20 developers on the payroll. I did that for about 15 years. In 2012, read the Bitcoin white paper. Deeply impressed, deeply moved. I think that most people who joined the ecosystem those years were kind of more on the slightly ideological side, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
And less on the money-seeking side.
Right.
And as someone who was always interested in financial systems, financial procedures, I think that there's the kind of you always feel like the financial systems are much less efficient than they could be. Kind of a trickle-up economy. Somehow the money flows only in a very specific direction, and the fact that financial systems, as problematic as they are, if you look at history, every empire, no matter how rotten it from the inside, unless there was an external force that gave the push over the edge, it never really changed.
Mm-hmm.
So and by definition, up until Bitcoin at the time, there wasn't anything which was really external from financial systems by definition. Right. I mean, if you're a company, you have to be connected to financial systems if you want to pay salaries, if you want to accept payments. And all of a sudden, something here can really make a difference. And again, I'm not on the libertarian side. I don't think that banks are going anywhere. I don't think financial systems or, for that matter, governments are going to go away. But I do think that given the proper shift in balance, I think we can see something just like maybe voice over IP revolution in telephony. I mean, I still remember times when we were paying something like $1,000 per month for our mobile phone.
Yeah.
For the bill, and right now, I mean, I pay like $10 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still constantly looking for a better deal. And I don't do when I'm abroad, I never roam on anything but data, and all my calls WhatsApp or Signal or Telegram. So even if the crypto industry just pushes the banking industry to be 100x or 1,000x cheaper, more efficient, and open for inside competition, I think that would be enough. And if it does more than that, if it actually brings financial possibilities to people all around the world, naturally, I think that what Simplex does is enabling easier access to people when they want to get into the crypto world. We just launched the feature of enabling kind of a cash out, selling crypto, taking money to the creator debit card. We're going to extend that service to other partners as well very soon. We just launched with one. and adding on top of that, but I'm guessing your next questions are going to be about Simplex, so I'm going to keep that for that.
Exactly. So Simplex is this company. If I understand it correctly, it's kind of a payment service, but you said it also allows people to cash out of crypto. Is that correct?
So the basic service is enabling users to buy with a credit card. The internal issue with the credit card is the fact that credit cards are prone to charge, meaning that had I taken your credit card and the purchase somewhere, anything, by the way, not only crypto, then you find out you for your money back, and you're most likely getting it back. And that's that's the issue with credit cards in general. Credit card fraud is a huge issue, tens of billions of dollars globally every year, and and that was when we started Simplex over 5 years ago, it was considered kind of the holy grail, something which will be impossible to provide the purchase of crypto with a credit card. And right now as mentioned, we're expanding into enabling users to sell the crypto and take the money to the regular credit debit card, again, globally. We have quite a few services that are going to be connected, so to speak, to all of that pretty soon as well. Additional payment services like ACH in the States, wire transfers, more localized payment services, and as much as we can, we're going to implement them both as on-ramp as off-ramp as well, meaning that we're going to enable a larger variety of users in a much more versatile amounts as well to on-ramp and off-ramp to and from the crypto ecosystem. We're also going to launch in a few months a Simplex account, which will enable you to save all these fiat on and off ramps, and also enable you to hold fiat balances on your Simplex account. And because we're integrated with so many exchanges and wallets, basically it will save them the time from going through the complete regulatory process of getting licensed. I think that for them it could be an amazing mechanism to enable users to make deposits and withdrawals from their systems. I think that right now, one of the biggest blockers for exchanges, for wallets, for pretty much every company in the ecosystem is the regulatory requirement. And if we are indeed able to kind of release them from that need, I think it will have a great impact on the ecosystem.
Right. So Simplex is providing sort of relief from this regulatory requirement by providing all these on and off ramps. Is that the thing that specifically you see Simplex doing in terms of regulation?
So right now the on and off ramps, and in a few months also enabling users to hold the fiat balances on their Simplex account, and using all the on and off ramps, enabling all the partners, the exchanges, brokers, the wallets to kind of facilitate this infrastructure and use it, enabling users to do all that through their system. So if today we enable Binance to let their users use their credit cards to make deposits or purchases with exchanges and wallets. In a couple of weeks, we already launched with one partner, but we're going to expand service to everyone, the ability to sell crypto and take money to the credit card.
I see.
And in a few months, users will be able to store their fiat balance with us. So not only deposit and withdraw, say today you want to buy Bitcoin and tomorrow you want to sell it, you don't necessarily want to take the money to your bank account. You might want to save it kind of a stablecoin functionality, store it online so you can continue and trade.
Right, I see. So at the moment then, is Simplex pursuing, or are there already options on Simplex to cash in and out without going through a bank at this point? Like, can you transfer, for example, your Simplex accounts, or is this will this be in the future? Can you transfer your balance from Simplex straight to something like Western Union or PayPal, for example, or at this moment is everything kind of operating through a bank?
No, so today basically the only method that we currently allow is still credit cards.
Okay.
But the fact is that it's not going to a bank. So if you make a withdrawal to your credit card, if it's a credit card, then it's balanced against your credit card. If it's a debit card, it's moved into your debit account. So basically, the bank doesn't have much to say on it. Yeah.
Okay, right.
They don't really have a word in that process.
I see exactly what you mean. So that's kind of like what you were saying earlier with the ideological side of crypto and Bitcoin, and how, you know, the ultimate goal is to not eliminate the banking industry necessarily, but to kind of give them a little bit less power over the things that their personal finances, right?
Yeah. So.
Yeah. On the Simplex website, it says that, quote, our goal is to eliminate inherent online payment risk and make online commerce safe for all. So it seems that, you know, secure payments and ensuring the safety of users as well as merchants is important to Simplex. So how is Simplex working to accomplish this?
So the credit card mechanisms are usually built around protecting consumers. So in the previously mentioned example, when I stole your credit card and made a purchase, you complain to the credit card company, you got your money back. The party who is stuck with the debt is actually the merchant. So the merchant from whom I made the purchase is getting stuck with a shorthand of this. And what we're doing is Simplex, the fact that we're providing fraudless payment processing. So payment processing in the sense that the merchant is never exposed to a chargeback risk. This is the part making the difference. So in this scenario where I made a transaction with your credit card, if the transaction was covered by Simplex, processed by Simplex, even if it does end in a chargeback, then Simplex picks up the bill and makes sure that the merchant is held whole and doesn't incur any losses.
Okay, that's amazing. You mentioned that Simplex is also working on a global scale, but I'm curious, like, is Simplex targeting any specific areas of the world, any specific markets at the moment, or is the door sort of just wide open to anyone who wants to join?
Wide open, basically, you know, crypto being a very global business. We're global from day one, whether we like it or not. We like it, but, it's a very global business.
Definitely, yes. So as such, you know, being a global business, being a global industry, it's, you know, crypto companies have this challenge of operating throughout jurisdictions, each one of them having, you know, a slightly different or a very different set of regulations that apply to crypto companies. So sort of speaking kind of generally, how has this affected the work that Simplex does? Like, how is Simplex managing to stay compliant and, you know, to communicate with all these regulators in these different jurisdictions at this point in time?
So Simplex is a licensed financial institution. We don't transact, hold, or process crypto transactions per se. We kind of I'd say we keep on finding our way between the raindrops, so to speak.
Okay.
Find a way that we can act without breaking any regulation. I think it's something that usually Israelis are pretty good at. And I think that's why, you know, in the future, when crypto becomes more regulated, even if it's done step by step, I think that Simplex will be positioned in the best possible way, being regulated, but, you know, being very active in the ecosystem, able to absorb any regulated activity in crypto and add it to our service offering. So we keep a very close eye on regulation. We handle only fully regulated activities. We're in constant relationships with European Central Bank. I think that's the way to do it. I think that trying to break break the systems without being part of them is dangerous and destructive to the general effort.
Right, exactly. So there is sort of a balance that needs to be achieved. So,
yeah.
Because you're in such, your eyes are so wide open on all these different regulators. I'm curious if you have any thoughts as to which direction you sort of see things heading in. So, there have been a few international efforts, at least starting to talk about regulating crypto on an international scale. I know the G20 conference this year, they're going to be talking about crypto regulations. But do you think that that's kind of a realistic thing? Do you think it's realistic that there will be, eventually a set of international regulations that control crypto? Or do you think that we're going to kind of continue down this path of, these raindrops? And yeah, what do you think?
I think that the biggest driver at the end will be, the Facebook token, because because Facebook is just that they're going to do their thing, and the regulator will find a way to work with it, because won't take too big of a risk without considering all the possible consequences. I think they're working with the regulators, but I think that will be a huge driver. Facebook, if they want, they can become the largest organization with their own currency, and that will have a huge impact on other nations. Mm-hmm. And I think that the regulators understand that it's going to happen, and it's going to happen by it's going to be driven by a very large organization that's going to do it in a kind of in an existing time frame, and not something that's completely open and only when the SEC responds or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that will be, I think, the first cryptocurrency that will be regulated to a certain extent. And I think that after that, everything will have to follow somehow. I do think that, I understand some of the problems with regulating crypto. It has huge implications on governance and money issuance. I understand the complexity, but I think that the fact that the regulators will just, see it happening and then will need to cope with it, is the way to go. And that's basically what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy how fast the Facebook thing is happening. It was like just last week. Surprise! Like it's coming out this month.
Yeah, I mean, we heard about it long ago, but it's, they're definitely moving faster than anticipated, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm curious, also from your point of view, I'm wondering if you've seen any efforts to kind of self-regulate within the industry that have been particularly impressive to you. And I'm sure that Simplex, as a multinational, a company that operates in an international space, that Simplex has also had to take some steps to self-regulate. Do you think that self-regulation has been, effective up to this point? And or rather, do you think where do you think that self-regulation has made the most powerful impact in the cryptocurrency industry?
I think that most of the responsible parties are, the fact that almost everyone is performing KYC for almost every transaction is important. Mm-hmm. Keeping the ecosystem cleaner. Mm-hmm. I think that I'd say that the biggest issue is that up until now, not giving a fuck about regulation didn't really bite anyone in the ass hard enough.
Okay.
No, seriously. I mean, how many people have been in prison for market manipulation, for money laundering? Right. Hardly anyone. So it's kind of, many are trying to be responsible adults, and many others are making tons of money.
Yeah.
So, but I'm fine with it. I think it's the ecosystem is evolving and maturing, and um, but I can't say there was something like which really made a difference. I mean, it's basically driven by fear. So if someone thinks they can get away with it, he's doing it. So
Yeah, that's a great point. So it's kind of like in an ideal world, um, how would that change? Like how would regulators need to act, or what kinds of new regulations do you think that we would need to see to kind of prevent this vicious cycle of people just seeing what they can get away with, and users and customers being burned as a result, and really no one facing any kind of real consequences for it? How does the regulatory sphere need to change?
I think that first of all, I mean, the biggest question should be finally given an answer by the regulator, whether it's treated as a currency or as an asset or as a commodity or whatever else, and then or something different with a clear set of rules around it. The fact that they're having difficulties defining what it is biggest issue here. And I think maybe because it doesn't really fit the definition of an asset or a currency or a commodity. And so maybe there's a new class that should be created here. But I think that's the biggest issue. If the regulator manages to kind of drop crypto in one of those buckets, then great. If they don't, they should really get a move on creating a new bucket for that asset. And move on with some regulation around it. Again, I think that Facebook here will have a major part in doing that.
Yeah,
I'm guessing in some cases it will be beneficial for the ecosystem. In some it will be very harmful for the ecosystem, but at least it will be somewhat clearer. One of the reasons that in Simplex we chose to go on the fully regulated side and non-crypto, not touching crypto at any point, is because there's just no regulation in crypto, and we never understood when it's going to have any type of regulation. So we said, okay, we'll stick to only fiat, because if it's in fiat, I mean, even if it sucks, there's still laws you can follow.
Yeah.
And with crypto, you never know if you're on the safe side, if you're doing something that will be considered 2 years from now as a horrible thing, and next time in JFK you're gonna get cuffed. So.
Oh yeah.
so to speak. But
right.
But I think it's it's blocking the industry from really developing fast. I
think. Yeah, I would agree with that. Nimrod, do you have any announcements for Simplex? I know you mentioned a few things about over the next several months, but
no, not right now. Everything is still very much in the works. Might have something in a couple of weeks, but not yet.
Okay. Can you tell our listeners where they can find out more about Simplex or about you?
I'm very much out there, so just Google my name. With regards to Simplex is right now in a very much B2B state, so we're just very visible in the ecosystem. So pretty much anywhere where you can make a purchase with a credit card is through us. Yeah, almost anywhere. So we're pretty easy to find.
Great. Okay, Nimrod, it's been such a pleasure to talk to you. I think it's really great to have you on the panel in Barcelona.
Thank you. Excellent. And I'll see you there.